How you doing? Rock! So, I'm sitting here on a not so sunny Saturday afternoon and I have the house to myself. So I thought I'd do a little Geek Fest for you guys and grab the Q3 HD and do a little impromptu, unrehearsed tour of the studio. Because it's fun, right? So, without further ado, I'm just going to grab this little thing, which shakes like a monkey on heat, but I'll try and keep it steady and give you a little Geek Fest. Okay, so we start with the guitars, I guess. There's the beautiful Gem 7V with a sustainer on it. Love this guitar, just awesome. Very clear tone. Yeah, it just, the more I play it, the more it's like it becomes part of you. It's a totally cool guitar. Next we have the DNA, the glorious DNA. I'm not sure how good the light is in here, if you can see that well. I'm just going to adjust the lighting. Okay. Let's see. There we go, that's better. Just a beautiful guitar, completely different beast, different pickups, got Breed pickups on it, which sounds sort of darker and more kind of just richer somehow, but just different really. And it comes with a certificate from the Ibanez Blood Bank because it's got some Steve Vai DNA in it, and actually, if you look really closely, let me see if I can get this right. You can actually see drops of blood. According to Darren Johansson, who mixed the paint and did these wonderful swirls, the blood wouldn't actually mix with the red paint and it kind of globulized, and there you can see a couple of globs of blood. So, good investment for cloning in years to come. Okay, moving on swiftly. We've got the 20th anniversary 7-string, which just has an incredibly clear tone. Just a wonderful guitar, basically. Really lush, clean tone it's got though. Whatever wood they used, pieces of wood they chose, just glorious. Okay, so moving on, we've got the 20th anniversary of the Gem itself, which is the acrylic body guitar, which lights up when you do a solo. It's kind of a geeky gimmick. Years ago we had an acrylic body guitar and it just sounded like a sledgehammer from hell, and when this thing came along I thought, right, okay, gotta check it out, and it does sound like a sledgehammer from hell. It'll kind of give you that I am the son of Thor vibe. Yeah, it's just a total metal beast. At the moment this one's tuned to a low C, so it's even more kind of dragon speak, you know. Okay, in the rack, the rack of doom, we have Ibanez MC550 Musician. I've had that since the 80s, did tons of free festivals with it. Great guitar. It's got a MIDI pickup on it, GR33 MIDI pickup, which is quite handy because my keyboard playing skills are that of a French cow. Wall bass, lovely fretless bass, active circuit. It's got fret markings, but it's fretless. And interesting thing about this one is it's actually got the serial number W1112, which if you look up in the records means it's only the second wall ever made, which could be quite shocking. I bought it for 300 quid in a music shop in Fulham. Fender Squire Strat, total hippie paint job, painted by a good friend of mine, Blim. It kind of destroyed the tone because she used such heavy acrylic paint that, yeah, kind of deadened it a bit, but it's cool. It's a funky guitar. Okay, Fender Jaguar, great for James Brown. Fender Precision Bass, 1969, I think. Just awesome guitar. Charvel 650B. Used that a lot touring with Archaeos at the beginning of the 90s. A Turkish saz, fantastic instrument, and this little beast, which is basically a box of wood with a camel skin over it and a broomstick. But it's amazing, it's a whole other world. Dead Mac, dead hard drives. That's a whole other story. So, okay, moving on. The pedal board. Can't really see it, can you? Right, let's get some light on this. Okay, just built this. It's a beast. We've got Digitech Whammy, Bad Horsey 2, excellent wah pedal, small stone phaser, very obscure, saturator, that's kind of cool. And we've got Space Echo emulation, envelope filter, compressor. Now basically I run the Whammy into the Morley pedal, into the envelope, and then into a compressor, and it just kind of, it's these two really kind of tames those two a little. Eventide pitch factor, just a monster, unbelievable, unbelievably crazy. Yeah, only just really scratching the surface with that one, but it's incredibly flexible. And then we have a tuner. Okay, so that lot goes through one of these at any one time. I'm sure you're familiar with them. A couple of Legacies, a Legacy 1, Legacy 2. I don't use it rigged up here with the two speakers. It goes all the way out here into the hall, past some fairly obscure and strange artifacts that I picked up, and into here, which is supposed to be the spare room, but it has been taken over by the machines. So, Fender Rhodes. Currently my daughter's piano, practice piano, which is kind of cool for her, I guess, and that's going through an old Marshall 50-watt master volume from the 60s, which I picked up as a replacement for one of these, which is a 100-watt master volume, and I had one of them since the beginning of the 80s, and it got nicked in Finland when we were on tour with Archaeos. So yeah, that's the 50-watt was the only one I could find to replace it at the time. It doesn't quite have the power, but it's got a great tone to it. And this beast, so mic'd up from next door. Thank God there's no neighbours, and it's a 421 and SM57, more or less on axis, but sort of the 57 slightly off to compensate for gravitational pull of the Earth's surface. Okay, so cables moving back, me underwater in Australia, I think. Okay, so they go into a couple of mic pre's. I've got a couple of Neve 1081s. The SM57 goes into one of them. Lovely, say no more, just classic units. And this Little Labs LMNO pre, I think it's called, which is just phenomenal, actually, incredibly flexible, and the best thing about it is this little knob here. This knob is fully flexible phase shift, I think you call it. So you can have a DI bass, for example, and then a mic bass coming through here, and you can just totally dial in to correct the phase, which is completely cool. This is the rack of doom, basically. And it used to be over there in the main rack, a lot of it, but I can't reach. So it's just got closer and closer to the desk, and it's a bit of a wiring nightmare at the minute, but I'm waiting for a caddy to be built for me so that I can sit really politely here and be all tidy.